Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast, a place where we focus on the business side of art to help you attract more customers, increase profits, and ultimately live a life of creativity and financial freedom. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and this week's episode is all about organizing, batching, and repurposing content in order to make your promotion efforts easier, specifically around the upcoming holiday season. This topic is top of mind to me because I am currently batch recording podcast episodes and all of the things while preparing to make my own life much easier in the coming months for when I take 4 months of maternity leave starting around November. So in just about a month. And I'm working a bit more strategically right now, expecting that I'll be a little bit busy or a little more distracted later on. And I think some of my methods could work in your self's favor too, or your future self will thank you as well, as I think mine will. Anyway, so I am currently 8 months pregnant and still painting, if you can believe it. I can't. I wasn't sure what to expect with this. I just didn't know. But I'm finding that it's healthier for me, for my body and my mind, to stay busy during this time. So I'm not just impatiently waiting around like, give me my baby. I'm ready for him to come. The nesting is done and all of the things. And so, yeah, I'm still painting. But it's funny to me. So one thing that's really annoys me, being a first-time mom and being one of the last people to have children that I personally know, because we live in small town Missouri, and if you don't have a baby and a family by 25, you're like behind. And so a lot of my friends and family and just really everybody that I know has children. And so I'm getting a lot of unsolicited advice from people who mean well. I get it, but people will just come up to me and just like predict my future, and it drives me freaking nuts. People will come up and be like, oh, just wait for this to happen, and you're going to hate this, or you're going to love this, or you need this product, or don't get this product, or whatever. And it's like, first off, nobody gives me a reason behind it. They just give me their biased opinion on kids. And I'm like, okay, like I've just started speaking up, like, yes, I've heard that 5 times. Yes. But it's hearing advice from people like this has really made me just think about how I give you advice and my Artist Academy students with selling and making art and all of the things surrounding art and business, because I realized with me, and it's something that I've tried to do with you in the past, add a story to it, and like add a story to the advice and whatnot, but it's really making me just conscious of, I can't just tell you what to do. I have to tell you why. And I need to tell you maybe a story that goes behind it so you can actually understand how it happened and all of the things, because people giving me unsolicited advice, it just goes through one ear and out the other if nobody gives me a why reasoning. So today I'm going to make extra sure that any advice that I give you from now and from now on, that it has a reasoning behind it and a story and just something to back it up other than this is what I think you should do. And then just leaving it at that. And I think it helps you remember it too, because the stories that people tell me, if they tell me, oh, they got this product and it saved them because their kid was sick in this one time and blah, blah, blah. And then if there's a story behind it, it makes me remember it and it sticks in my mind. And that's what I want for you as well. So taking pregnancy lessons and turning them into art business. Anyway, one of the tactics that I'm using to be prepared for the upcoming holiday season, because I still want to show up a little bit online here and there, is to batch record and batch take photos. Is that how you say that? Batch take photos. Take a lot of photos at once and video and whatnot of the products that I'm going to be selling this holiday season. And that way I can just take the photos, take the little bits of videos and maybe edit them, add a little caption later on. And it's so easy to promote something. And then I could just go back to feeding the baby or whatnot. And I've done this in years past, meaning when I get a batch of mini prints in, I order them in numbers of 1,000, so 100 prints each. And so I have 10 different prints to promote in the next 10 months of my IU mini prints. Because if you don't know, you can sign up on my print of the month, and then I send you a mini print every month. It's different. They have a cute, fun thing on the back. It is my tier 1 of my pricing structure. Super cheap, $7. Anyway, I do it every month. I have been slacking on promoting that because it's really just not my most profitable thing, but it is something that I'm doing and I want to just keep up with it. So I, in years past, have, as soon as I receive that giant box of prints, and so I have 10 months worth of prints, I will put my makeup on, do my hair, because we all know that that's not an everyday thing, especially with painting. It's like an effort to not look homeless some days because we're just staring at a wall and not socializing. And so on the days where we do put a little bit of effort in, I will break out my camera, break out the ring light, or get some really good natural light, and I'll take a bunch of pictures with my prints. And truthfully, what I do is kind of cheating because I'll just take a bunch of pictures with one print and then I'll just Photoshop a different print in depending on if I like the photo later on. So if you're following me, I will just pose over and over again with the same print in different ways, turn my head a different way, maybe change my shirt. And this whole thing takes like 30 minutes. And I'll get a bunch of photos and then I'll pick out the ones I like, save them in a folder, and then I'll either edit them with the different prints on the photo like immediately, or I'll just wait and I'll pick through the good photos later on when I'm ready to promote that print. It's very easy. And I show people exactly how to do this in the academy. But I do it on Procreate on the iPad. Very easy to just put a print inside of the photo, make it look like I'm holding it. Nobody knows it's cheating, but I think it makes, for one, the print look better because you're taking an actual photo of the print and putting it onto the photo so there's no glare. I do the same things with originals that I paint, and I'll just pose in a cute outfit right next to basically a blank wall. And then I will just Photoshop that painting onto the wall later on. That way I don't have to get all dressed up every day, or anytime I make a new painting, I can just put it on there. It's I think work smarter, not harder kind of a thing. And it really comes in handy just taking a couple hours while you look good to take a bunch of photos or a bunch of video of things, take a bunch of B-roll or whatever. And that way you can just draw from it later on when maybe you're not feeling as creative, or I just haven't created something in a while and I'm about to not be creating things for a long while. So although this year it doesn't really work for me to take full body photos of things and post them later on because I am a full 8 months pregnant at the moment, as I mentioned. And so it would not work for me to be posting that photo in January. I can't do this trick this year, but I thought I would let you know because I've done this in the past and it has really helped me just not feel overwhelmed because we're thinking about this ahead of time, right? And I feel like my brain is always thinking about the future, no matter what. And we're just assuming that we're going to be overly busy doing commissions. Our weekends are going to be full. Like there's going to be no time to do all of this. So taking a little bit of extra efforts in now, or even as you're painting, just take extra video as you're going along. Like set up a time lapse every single day, no matter what. Take little bits of video more than you normally would, because later on, you can then repurpose that video and make a whole new video of the same kind of content. Because this leads me to my second point of repurposing old content, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing when I have a baby in my arms and I'm probably not wanting to go to the studio and I'm not wanting to leave the house to do murals. I'm just going to download my old videos from Instagram or wherever and edit them, probably make them slightly shorter, add the new trending sound, add a different caption, and post it. And that's what I plan to do really for a couple months. And so I'll be posting, a little bit of things that I'm selling here and there. For instance, I plan on doing that print of the month bundle. I'm going to maybe do like a $30 bundle of a bunch of prints, maybe like 10 of them for like a holiday stocking stuffer special. So I'm just taking prints that I already currently have left over from my print of the month, putting them together and selling them that way. And so I'm going to take photos and all of the things ahead of time in order. Actually, I might just wait until I have a baby and have the baby in the photo, because that'll probably sell more. That's how I think. Anyway, I'm telling you, I've been posing next to art all summer with my big pregnant belly, and people love it. I'm like, I'm ashamed, or not ashamed. I'm sad that this can't last forever. I mean, like, sad, but kind of happy. But it is great for making sales, especially on Facebook. People love a pregnant person, let me tell you. So I'm sure people are going to love a new baby. So I might have the baby holding things. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. So anyway, for those of you who just absolutely refuse to take any kind of photos or videos ahead of time, that's fine. Then my advice to you is to do what I've started to do and just take some of your old video and repurpose it. Because I just posted a Halloween face painting video where I painted a spider on my neck, and I posted that 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I didn't realize it had been that long, but I scrolled on Instagram, downloaded it. I edited it to be a little bit shorter because people's attention spans are just shorter nowadays. And I used this year's trending Halloween sound and I posted it. And it just keeps me top of mind to my customers. It shows them that I can do different things. I don't necessarily want to be hired for face painting or anything, but it gives content putting out to just keep me top of mind. And so by the time I go to sell, I have already entertained them, and they're more likely to buy what I want because they're more familiar with me. So that's how that works. Entertain, inform, and then sell. Another repurposing tip that everybody is going to do around New Year's is to make some kind of collage video of the past projects that you've done. And I did a little bit of brainstorming on what I could possibly do for this. And because I can just see myself in the future breastfeeding and just editing video while that's happening. And I was like, okay, in the future, this is what I could do. I could do a collage of all the kids' rooms that I have done recently, or even do like 2 or 3 collages of all kids' rooms, because I do a lot of nursery rooms and, little girls' rooms and all the things. And so that would be a really good thing to do in order to repurpose content, to stay top of mind and just be relevant on social media. And so that's one thing that I plan to do is all the kids' rooms footage video. I'm going to take that off of Instagram, or just try to find it in my phone again and edit it together in such a way, find a trending sound, and then have a new caption saying something like, say I posted in December and I could tell people that I'm booking kids' room murals in the spring just to get on your radar or something like that. So another one I could do is wings. Painted a lot of butterfly wings, painted some fire wings, some foliage wings, flower wings, all the things. I could take all of those wings and collages or a video, and you could do photo or video. Either one. I recommend video because that is what Instagram is pushing. But I could take all of the video out there and just have some kind of story behind it. I could do a voiceover of all the wing stuff that I've done and say, I started doing wings in 2017. It took off and I became the butterfly wings girl. And since then, I've done this one, this one, this one, this one. And let me know if I could just, talk about it and say, hire me in the spring or whatever. Another one is community murals. I really like doing big, like greetings from Springfield. We just did a greetings from Lockwood one, which is a neighboring town. Just big, giant community murals. I like them because they pay well and they give me really good exposure. And I just like to work really big. So I could do a collage of all of the big murals that I've done. You could do a collage of like a video thing of all the pet portraits that you've done, or find any kind of similarity and put them together. Really, I could even tell myself that I've done probably 10 American flag murals in the past however many years, and I could put them all together, but then I would be telling on myself because I've done the same American flag probably like 4 or 5 times because it's so easy and people don't know that. So that would be an interesting one. So just giving you ideas to brainstorm, because it's all about repurposing content. We don't always have to be on the create a new reel now hamster wheel and just figuring out, how to just create something new all the time. I think there's something in taking your old stuff, even if you're just taking a video without editing it, just completely reposting it from a year ago. I think if you're doing holiday windows this year, which holiday window season is about to be coming up in peak season. So if you have ever done a holiday window art at all, especially around the Christmas season, post it again. I did that last year. And I repurposed the year before, just showing the different kind of holiday windows that I've done, or just completely reposting the exact same video because it's relevant again. Now, it wouldn't be relevant if I was posting Christmas windows in June, right? But it's relevant again now. So you can do that and nobody is going to think she's already posted that. That's annoying. Like, nobody. People are going to barely remember that you did it. And all the new followers that you've gotten, they're going to be seeing it for the first time. Think about that. And it just repurposing content instead of creating new stuff. Big tip for this holiday season when you're feeling so overwhelmed and you haven't posted in a couple weeks because you're like, I have so much to do. Just take an old video, repost it, and say, this was my favorite project from last year. Boom. That's it. When I repurposed one of my videos recently, I was like, this was one of my first viral reels. That's it. That's all I said. No big deal. But it just gives you something to post to stay top of mind, because you never know who could see that and what could come of that, who's going to share that, and what kind of exposure you're going to get from that in a new way. And another way to repurpose content is just prints in general. Things that we've painted last year, last season, whatever. You have a new audience this year. Show it to them. It's even if you painted it forever ago. There's a lot of people that have no idea that I painted this rainbow lion 4 years ago, and that was my best-selling print that year. No idea. So I'm going to be just reposting it again. And the people who've already seen it, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that one. And then they're going to keep scrolling. But the people who are now newly following me, who maybe haven't seen that before, even though it's old news to me, they're going to be seeing it and being like, hopefully, at least one of them is going to be like, oh, maybe I would like a print of that. Let me go order. And that is just the ultimate way to work smarter, not harder, of not just keeping producing. It's just selling prints. That's it. So I feel like that just so fits into our repurposing and batching strategy. It's just sell prints in general. Like they are working for us. And here's an idea, and I'm stealing this from an artist that I know. So Megan Moe, I say her last name wrong every time, but Megan, she has been on the podcast in the past. She's an artist out in Utah. She's mentioned in my book. We've met in person once. Anyway, I really wanted to support her art business, and I was really intrigued with this series that she did last year during Halloween. She did all of the zodiac signs she did that right before Halloween, but she did all the zodiac signs in a series, and I just didn't love one of them enough to buy one. I was pretty torn. I was like, I don't know. But then she came out with a limited series of collage prints. And what this looks like, it's actually currently hanging in my art studio, like in arm's length from me right now. I bought this from her because I loved her series overall. And I guess this kind of plays off of our Series 6 challenge that we just completed. So if you are part of that and you have a series of paintings, this definitely applies to you. Or it just gives you a benefited reason to create a series for people to follow along with. I absolutely loved it. It was her version of women in the zodiacs, and I just loved it so much. And so she came out with this collage print, and so it just looks like the squares. I'm sure if you go to her page and you scroll a little bit, I'll link her in the notes, but I'm sure if you go there, you'll be able to see it if you scroll down quite a bit. It just looks like squares on a thing. I think there's 2 rows of 6 on each end, and it's just squares of her paintings, and so basically you get all of the paintings in one, and it's like a little mini poster. I think it's like 24 inches by 15 inches, something like that. And so I felt like I was getting a really good deal because I got all of her paintings on one, and I could see them all rather than having to just choose one. And I really like this method. So if this applies to you, here's your sign to do that. Here's your zodiac sign. And speaking of Megan, another shout out to her. She did a really popular Halloween series of the 7 deadly sins last year. So right around this time last year. And I'm noticing that she is reposting those videos nowadays. And I'm just like clapping for her. I'm like, you go girl. Because she's doing exactly what she should be doing, reusing the content that is relevant around Halloween. And I know a lot of you will listen to this and think that's a good idea, but like it's not necessarily earth-shattering, right? Like the advice that I'm giving you, it's not necessarily like just out of this world. Like I've never thought of that before. Like it's probably pretty common. But I just want to challenge you to be like, okay, if it's so common and it's so easy, why don't more people do it? I'd see very little artists just reusing some video from years ago. I very rarely see artists, posting the same thing 2 or 3 or 4 times. It's usually just a one and done. This is the painting that I created this week, and then they don't post for a week, and then they're on to the next one. And I'm like, but you can just post your process, post the beginning of it, post the middle, post the end. And then in a year from now, remind us of it. Like there's so much more that I think we can be doing, and myself included, because for a while there, I thought the same thing. I thought I just had to recreate and just do it. I could only post it once or people would get bored with me, but that's not it at all. Anyway, so I just want to urge you to try that, because it really is the artists that stay top of mind who get the jobs. And because I talk to artists a lot, and they're like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And they don't make time for it. And so they're not posting it. So they're not getting the jobs. But it's the ones that do post it that are like, oh, okay, I get it, because now they're busy. And I wanted to give a little organization tip. This is inspired by our mastermind call this morning. So we have this thing called the Master's Program inside the Artist Academy, and it's just for artists who are a little bit on the more upper level that just want to have a little bit of more of those upper level conversations of how people are working at a higher level. And so we talk about things, and this conversation wasn't really an upper level conversation, I don't think, but we were talking about organizing, and we had a member, William, asking, how do you guys keep organized? Like, is anybody else feeling behind? Is it like, how are you going to catch up? And I was just listening to people and asking everybody, how do you stay organized? How do you keep on top of your shit all the time? Because it's hard. Because for me personally, if it's not in my phone calendar or on the notes section of my phone, if it's not in my phone that I carry with me all the time that I'm obsessed with, I'm addicted to my phone. If it's not in there, it's not happening. I've tried carrying around the notepad. I've tried doing the things, and it just does not work. Just doing like a daily practice of things I need to do, writing it down, that does not work. I just keep a running tab, and I put anything that needs to be done. I will either block off a day on my calendar, so say Mondays are my recording days and just my office days. If I need something to get done, I schedule it on a Monday, and I put it in my phone saying, you need to do stuff for Artist Academy today, or you need to do 3 interviews today, or I put it in there, or else it does not get done. But we were asking other people, and Jody, who's in our group, says that she uses a whiteboard so that it is in her face right there. She can see it because she's tried other methods that did not work for her, but she has the whiteboard up there. And so that way, it's a reminder of you need to do this. You need to set your prints up. You need to, fix that thing on your website. And you can see it every single day. And then you get to erase it once it's done and then add something else. And we were talking, and Tiffany is another member, and she has a weekly planner. So she does a lot of face painting and art parties and whatnot, and things that she needs to get supplies for the next week. So what really helps Tiffany is she has this planner where she has all of the tasks for the upcoming week planned out in it, and she'll look at it the week before and buy the supplies, get everything ready. That way, when it is time for that week to happen, she'll be like, okay, this is what I have to do today. Already have the supplies, already ready to go. I don't typically work like that because I am going to a mural job actually tomorrow. And so I just took inventory of all of the paint that I needed and I'm going to be running to the paint store just really quick today to get stuff. But I am a very last minute. I don't know what I'm doing next week. I don't know. I'm just like, okay, what am I doing today? What am I doing tomorrow? That's it. Very little planning. But if you're not like me and you're like, Tiffany, I'm sure it will highly, benefit you to have that full week planner. So 3 tips: either phone calendar or whiteboard or weekly planner. Do something, because if you don't just schedule time to do these batch recordings or take photos or do all the things, then it's probably not going to get done, right? And that's what I have to do. I have to literally block off a time. And if you're wanting to take prints seriously this upcoming holiday season, which highly recommended, the last solo episode I did was all about how to make money with prints. And it's just such a profitable thing to do around the holidays. Go listen to that episode. But if you're like, okay, I've been meaning to do this for a while, just set a whole week off or set a whole weekend away where okay, I'm going to get my print system set up. And it really doesn't take that much time. Once you really get in it and you get the ball rolling and you get your mind focused on it and you figure out what you need and you make a couple orders, it doesn't take that long, but scheduling a time is the key to doing. Okay, anyway, I'll stop preaching at you. But one last reminder, we are going through our 4th quarter success plan. And if you need a holiday window painting flyer, just click the link here and you go to, it's basically artistacademy.co/holiday window painting. And you can download my free holiday window painting flyer if you are wanting to do that, which is, big tip, one of the most profitable things you can do if you're wanting to get into that style of art. It's huge around the holidays, and I give you a free flyer to go check it out and go pass around. And if you need help with sales tactics and prints and all the things, I do have a Print Perfect program that walks you through all of the print process and also the selling of it. I teach you exactly how to sell through email and all of the things. And speaking of batching and repurposing content, I'm just using the scripts that I've always used and just making them just a little bit better from years past of how I sell my prints. And it's going to make it really, really easy this year as I am very distracted and to sell and to still make that income while I am nesting and preparing for baby. So if you would like those scripts and all of that, you can get that inside of the artistacademy.co. Join our membership for the 4th quarter success plan. And I think that is about it. Alrighty, I'm going to go put a coat of varnish on a mural so that I can deliver it tomorrow. Okay, that's it. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Let me know if you have any questions. And if this episode helped you at all and it inspired you at all, please share it on Instagram and tag me. I would love that if you shared it in the story. I don't get paid for this podcast. I just put it out. And if you want to spread the love, I would love that. Okay. Thank you again. See you next week.